What's up, people? Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Cup Chasers podcast. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. It's been an incredible, wild couple of days in the Champions League, and we've got some spicy fixtures at the weekend. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Man City play Spurs, Chelsea hosting Brighton, and Arsenal look to stay top against the Wolverhampton Wandering Wolves, among others. But yeah, right out the rip, let's go ahead and get the likes up on the video, people. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Subscribe if you're new. And yeah, hey, let's go ahead and get right into it. Lewis, Man City, awful in the first half of this game versus Leipzig. We'll start with the Champions League. Get a little review in here. What'd you think?
Yeah, funny thing is, I text you guys in the chat. I was working, so I didn't see the first half at all. And like I normally
Probably
have
best.
like I have my notifications silent when I'm doing the kind of work I was doing. So I was like, well, because I didn't want to get like sidetracked. And then I jump in because I'm finished. And as soon as I'm not lying to you, as soon as I turn it on, Holland scores. And I see the score. I'm like, how are they down? Right. I was confused, man. I was like, what is going on? And so then, I'm looking at them play in the second half, and I'm looking, and I'm like, well, Walker's not on. I'm like, is he hurt? Because I saw the starting lineup, and he wasn't on the pitch anymore. And Grealish was off too. And
so was Ruben Diaz.
Right. And so I was looking, and I was like, okay. And then they really flowed. They were fluid, and they were dominant in the second half. So later that night, I decided, okay, well, let me see what happened in the first half, right? So I watched the first half, and they started off first 5 minutes kind of decent. But Ruben, and I mean, great defender, but he has been like that game he had that, like, first of all, he's actually at fault for both goals. Because the first goal, Akanji, he was supposed to be behind Akanji, which is why Akanji played the ball the way he did. And the guy spun off of him, and Ruben was supposed to be there, like, because they were side by side. But once he stepped there, it didn't make sense for Ruben to step up. But he stepped up instead of going behind him to protect him if the guy gets past him. Didn't do that. And, well, the goal came in there.
Well, although to be fair to Ruben, that's half a challenge from Akanji. That's not even half a challenge. That's like a little sniff of a challenge. And then he jogs back. Did you notice that? Then he jogged back. Like, he didn't try to get back. I was shocked.
But here's why I don't blame Akanji for it, because Akanji saw Diaz. So, I mean, if we think about the Diaz we know he goes behind him because that's what he does. So I'm not saying what he did was right. Terrible defending. He actually barely put a body on him. But I would guess it would be safe to say that he was thinking Diaz would be there, right? But he wasn't. So it is what it is. And then the second one, I don't know what kind of...
It's carbon copy. The same kind of defending.
I didn't know what Diaz was doing. He just stuck his leg out, and then Vardiol tried, and then I think he got megged. Did he get megged? I think he got megged. Yeah.
It wasn't great.
But anyways, I mean, Vardiol did get back, but it was rough, man. And the thing about it is that going forward, no one was shooting, which was really strange, because that's also what changed in the second half. They were shooting because they weren't shooting at all. And it's weird because some of the commentators were like, and some other sort of commentary after the fact was like, well, they're hoping for Grealish to be the one who plays centrally when De Bruyne, sort of like starts to wane off. But I mean, I'm confused on why Jack doesn't shoot the ball, because he has no goals this year, or one. He didn't have any. So, I mean, I think he has 2 assists. But, I mean, dude, there was at least 3 times where all he had to do was hit the ball. Just hit it. And at least make the keeper work, but he didn't do anything like that. So, it was understandable to take him off, but all 3 people that he took off. Diaz, because he was prone to get a second yellow because he was just playing poorly. Walker really didn't produce anything. And Rico Lewis looked really good playing over there, inverting, but also filling in that spot. And Ake, wonderful. I mean, he is who he is. But I mean, okay, I'm glad that somebody said that City doesn't know when they're beaten. That's because, in my opinion, you're never beaten until the whistle's over. And I think Pep has instilled that in them. And so they go until the end and you keep looking for one. And so I think they're getting regular wake-up calls. And I don't know if – I mean, I know there's this sort of a lack of continuity amongst the team based on, like, sort of midfield back. But they've got to find something because they got a lot of games coming up and the consistency has to come. I think when they play Spurs this coming weekend, specifically because it's in Manchester, they'll definitely be up for it and they'll play well. If it was in London, I don't know because I when City goes to play Spurs in
Y'all
London,
still haven't scored there.
I don't even know the answer to that, but it's
no at the new stadium. City have not scored.
They have it's an atrocious record there, so I don't have anything to say about that. But at home, I feel confident against them there. I think. I mean,
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall at the halftime speech.
Oh, he gave it to him, man. You know.
It to him. I mean, I've literally never seen Diaz have a bad enough half to get hooked. And what's crazy to me is I personally think that if Diaz is not on a yellow, Akanji gets hooked instead.
I can see that.
They were both poor. They were both really poor.
Yep.
I was shocked. And listening to some of the content from DR Sports and different channels across YouTube today, I was thinking in the beginning going in this morning, I was probably have told you that Man City are going to absolutely wipe the floor. But I went and watched that Leipzig game back today, the whole 90. And it's like a few games on the bounce now that City have been full of errors at times. Chelsea, Leipzig, Wolves, just full of chock full of errors. And we know that Big Ange, even if we go down to 5, mate, we'll have a go. It doesn't matter, so they're going to press high. They're going to stay high, the whole team. And they might nick one or two. This could quietly turn out to be like another barn burner.
I don't think so for the following reasons. There was a point where I think Rico Lewis is probably going to start the game because one of the things that I saw was you could see Rodri looked a lot more relaxed with Rico Lewis in the game because he was his outlet, right? So he could just kind of do what he does. And when Kyle Walker's in there, he can't do that. It's sort of the point we've made about Stones being missing. It's a huge thing for him to be missing. So I think
he'll be back.
I don't think he's going to start this game though. I think he'll play, but I don't think he'll start. I also think because of just sort of moving Bernardo around a lot, what you saw was Alvarez. He got some rest, and when he came on, he looked alive, man. So I think Pep might do a similar thing. I think Doku will start, and I mean he might give Grealish another one, but I think Doku will start because Doku has literally shown that the wing is his. He literally has to just fall off a cliff for him not to start on a wing. And Foden.
Well, it's going to be Pedro Porro will be the one defending him right on that side, and Porro gets forward a lot, inverts a lot. So it'll be Royale, or will it be Davies coming over? Either way, that's going to be Doku's going to run rampant down that side. Yeah, I would be shocked. I would be shocked to see Grealish.
I think Grealish will play. I just think he'll
the start.
Yeah, I don't think he'll start, but I think Doku will start. He's just his form is so good right now. I mean, like the front five kind of picks itself. I guess picks, and so it's just a matter of like picking defenders. But I think Ake will start. Vardiol was decent in the game, so I think he'll start as well. So I think Ake and Vardiol will start. I'm just not sure about Walker. I don't know if Walker starts the game because I mean, he's really there to defend and for pace. And I'm trying to think who. I mean, because I think Son will play not the 9, so I don't think he'll have to necessarily be there, and he'll probably start Akanji too. So
it'll be Brian Gill is who started last time.
okay, because I saw they had the Son go to the 9, so I don't. I mean, he maybe false
Yeah,
9.
because Kulu is the right forward. He'll be on the other side. So I think because, dude, Bentancur out for 9 months, comes back for 30 minutes, out again. He's going to miss this game. So no Romero, no Bentancur. Basuma's back, but no Sarr. No Van der Ven, obviously no Madison. So I think it'll be probably like Skip and Hoiberg and Basuma.
What
And
about
then
Lo
that's a good shout because he had a decent game versus Villa. So I mean, when you're picking between Oliver Skip and Gio Lo Celso, it's like, but yeah, I think that left wing might be Brian Gill. So I mean, you don't necessarily need to the greatest defender to be over there. Just saying.
I didn't say it. I'm just saying.
I did.
I didn't see anyone for Walker to like need to track.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave it that.
Yeah, but I think that it's this could be a field day because it'll really. I mean, I honestly expect Ange to play the high line, the high press. A lot of people are like getting all in a twist about, oh, he can't play this high line, he can't play this high line. Well, no, and none of these people are talking about how they play the high line, but it goes with their high press. It's not just like they're standing around trying to catch people off sides.
Right.
There's another part to it, and I still think that because City play through anyone's press really well, there could be some Nico Jackson through on goal type stuff going on.
I mean, that's if they see Haaland, because they miss his runs, so they got to see him to catch.
It may not be Haaland though. It may not be Haaland, because what I was saying during that Chelsea Spurs game, the deep runners. So you may see Silva and you may see old Philly Foden coming from a deeper lying area, and Haaland is in an offside position about 19 times. But hey, tell me about little Philip Foden comes in man of the second half. I'd say there is no man of the match for the first half because y'all were bad, but I would say man of the second half. The dude had himself a 45 minutes for sure. I think Pep might have gotten his face particularly.
Well, I mean, but he's been playing well. I mean, outside of that half, but he's been playing well for the last few games. It's just about sort of producing the product to give these guys end product, because again, I think some of these guys are lazy that De Bruyne and Rodri and Gundogan would give them balls where all they had to do was just turn and shoot, and that's not the kind of balls that they get from these guys. They're working their way to that. So Foden played well. I love when he and Alvarez play together, but I've been like that for a while. When Alvarez came on, Alvarez looked really alive, and that's
you were
good.
Alvarez from the start. You were team Alvarez from the start.
I was, and the thing is, I just think that the way they combine is a really good thing, because it looks like they understand each other's movements, and as well as Alvarez playing with Haaland. I always thought that front three was a really good front three, even though Alvarez doesn't play on the wing, but I think he had a half in him, and I'm curious, because I think he and Bernardo kind of like interchange a lot, and I think that's just a normal interchange where one is on the wing and then one comes central, or he plays like the left, sort of that left central mid thing that they're kind of doing. But Foden is, he's pulling strings. He's looking like he's starting to kind of come in his own in leading and kind of being vocal about stuff. So maybe Pep got on him and he's like, hey man, you need to play your game, because that's the one thing that you got to give De Bruyne credit for, is that he always plays with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he always looks like he has that sort of small anger in him. because I mean he's the most nonchalant, I don't care looking guy, but when he gets going, you can see like he's really into it. And so I mean, I'm happy to see him go forward. And I mean, Phil Foden has turned into Phil Foden that everybody thought he would be. So he has to keep progressing though. Can't progressing the way he is good, but he has to continue to go that way.
I honestly think he will. Patrick, I have a question for you. Yeah. There is a certain notion going around the Arsenal sphere, and I'm wondering how you, as a Chelsea fan, will answer this question. Do Arsenal fans, and of course yourself, prefer Man City to win or prefer a Tottenham win?
Oh, Man City. Man City.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what Lauren said as well when I asked her the same question.
Yeah, Man City, because, it's actually kind of funny you bring this up because I was talking to somebody about the football games this weekend for college. And they're like, it'd be really cool if so-and-so won. And I'm like, yeah, but that changes the status quo. And the status quo doesn't really cause ripples in the ocean, so to speak. And, if Spurs goes to City and wins, it's like, oh man.
That's the same thing she said, too.
Like
on this momentum kick, like Spurs are about to go on a run because they beat City. Get out of here, man. I'm not afraid of Spurs. Yeah, I hate him as much as the next guy, but I ain't afraid of Spurs. Whatever, dude.
I'm not afraid of Spurs either, but the point being is if they go and win, one, if you're thinking about it as a Chelsea fan, you look at the table and you're like, okay, we're not catching Arsenal. We're not catching City, probably not catching Liverpool, but you could potentially catch a Spurs.
Pragmatic as ever.
So I will take a page out of X's book, playbook, and say need the table to come back a little bit to us. So
for the same reason, I would answer a Spurs victory all day long. Because, like I say, I'm not afraid of what they're going to do in the next 20 games. I'm afraid of what this guy over here is going to do in the next 20 games. This dude right here, so.
I just want to comment on Patrick's point where he somehow left out United, Newcastle, and Villa.
Brighton, West Ham, Villa.
Just the disrespect that they just have been overlooked, which – I just want to put that out there that he was like, hey, they don't even count because Spurs.
Love it.
They see you, man. They see you.
I mean, I don't have any disrespect towards those teams except for United.
Boo.
I can't wait till we talk about United.
Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Yeah. I'm ready for that. It's gonna be so much fun.
I do think, like we were talking about, who's Chelsea's rival, and I think that was like 2 pods ago or a
couple episodes ago, yeah.
And it seemed like the consensus was, well, we don't like Spurs, but Spurs really isn't comparable to Chelsea, like a United or Liverpool. But when Spurs lose, it's a good day. I mean, it just is. It's like, for me as a Clemson fan, anytime that South Carolina,
the Gamecocks,
that's a great day. It just is. And the funny thing is, I've got some Spurs friends, and I usually rib one of them about, well, Chelsea's going to 3-point lane. What do you think's going to happen, buddy? Kind of thing. Just because there seems to be this history that's kind of ugly when you really kind of get down to it. But it's almost a lack of respect for Spurs because of just how Spursy they are. And so when you see them not being Spursy and bottling things, you're like, ooh, okay, there might be an issue here, on the horizon, especially with how Chelsea plays right now. And it's like,
look, I remember days. I remember days when Spurs were finishing 14th, 15th, battle and relegation, man. And those were the days. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that. But what do you think about is this game on Sunday? I think this is a Sunday game.
Sunday, it's the last match of the weekend.
Yeah. What do you think's gonna happen? Because I have, let's see, I forget. I think I went. What did I go with here? I said it would be 3-1 to the Citizens.
That's what I was going with too. I honestly, I think Lewis said, wake up calls and all that. I honestly think that this is a team that is just kind of going through the motions a little bit until they get their guys back. It's like, all right, we're gonna stay in touching distance. Maybe we're not at the top of the league table, and maybe we're not as scary as we usually are. But I think when they see, well, De Bruyne is back in January, Stones is going to be back soon, and you start to kind of break all those things down, and it's like they're just kind of biding their time. That's how I feel. I did find, again, I know we had this discussion the other night. I did find how nervous Pep was, and I didn't watch this game. I didn't watch the City match at all, but it's almost like, City toys with people in different ways. They toyed with Leipzig. I mean, they really did. Let's be honest. They got up 2-0. And then City's like, okay, we got to actually perform this 45. They drop a 3 spot and they win 3-2. I mean,
yeah,
it's
so gross,
that's brutal as a fan.
So gross.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
Sure.
Played poorly. They didn't say, hey, well, let me let him get a lead, and now I'm gonna.
No, I don't. No. I don't think
more dramatic victory.
I don't think they said let's let them get a lead. It was more like playing with their food in a way,
Yeah, we beat you guys 7-0 last time you were here, so
we know what we can do to you. So let's give the people a show.
No, because you got to take every opponent seriously. You don't live off the last results, so you got to play them seriously. And I mean, Leipzig was up for it. I mean, they like Jake always says, hey, when teams make errors against City, they make them pay for it. City got a dose of their own medicine. They made errors and they had to pay for it.
Spurs are gonna have to do that big time. You locking in that 3-1, Patrick?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3-1. I will watch this just so that I can watch Eric Dyer try to stop Erling Haaland. It's like I really need just like an Eric Dyer camera so that I can follow him and watch him. He runs like me, and I'm like 15 years older than him. Well, maybe a little less than that. It is just hilarious. It really, really is.
I'm looking forward to that as well. What you saying, Lewis?
I have a 3-1. I think Sonny is going to score. He likes to score against us.
3-1 Spurs. What?
And so I give him that one. But there was in the last 5 games, we've, with the exception of young boys, every team has scored against us, which is not great. Maybe Ederson comes back in because I know he was out because just to get himself back healthy. Maybe Ederson is like, hey, I want a clean sheet. You know what? No, I'm going to say 3-0. I'm going to change and go 3-0.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's a shout for the fact that Pep will be like, look, you guys were making way too many mistakes, giving the ball up way too much in that first half, and I don't want to see none of that in the next game because Spurs will punish you. Although they were a bit wasteful against Villa, I think that on his day, Son can, because that's what he does, right? He goes cold for 7 games and then comes with a hat trick.
Yeah,
so hopefully you haven't hit the hat trick day, or hopefully you have. At the end of the day, I would love City to drop points, but I also hate Tottenham, so it's kind of like whatever.
Well, We score against them, especially at home. We score multiple goals against them at home. So I'm
for sure.
I was gonna go 3-1, then I thought 2-0, but I'm gonna go 3-0.
Yeah, one thing I was just thinking about that I haven't really ever confirmed. I just kind of project, the things that I would do in the locker room at halftime onto coaches sometimes. But is Pep that guy that goes in there screaming at the top of his lungs, throwing things at people?
I don't know if he throws stuff at people, but you've seen the documentary is obviously they know it's there. But there were moments where he got it. He kind of dug in some of them. So I think he has that in him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's the Alex Ferguson hairdryer treatment, but I think the crazy Catalonian guy, Catalan guy is probably get you some of that. So
he's got that Spanish temper.
Yeah. Well, speaking of crazy Catalonians, the Arsenal absolutely demolished Lens at home. A little bit of revenge for the away leg in France, where Arsenal, I think, were just not up for it, not ready for that atmosphere. And I was calling for the atmosphere to be similar in London on Wednesday, and I do believe it was. Just blamed them. Just absolutely. It was a perfect day, really. For me, the first full performance from Kai Havertz, where you can say there wasn't a hole in the team, where you could say that he contributed what we need from, it was a Granit Xhaka-esque performance. Got a goal, contributed to other goals, was winning second balls, was winning first balls, was getting stuck in a little bit. Everything like he's never done. And so I'm hoping that we can just, when we look back, we'll say Kai's Arsenal career began the day he played left back for Germany. I'm hoping we can forget everything before that, and he can continue to have these kinds of performances, because not for nothing, but the first time he does have like a full contribution, like a full 90-minute contribution, we win 6-0. Just saying.
I will tell you, there was one person, and I'm telling you, reading his feed was great. There was one person, Chelsea fan, who was like melting down. And he's like, Arsenal's going to make him a world-class player. He would have been a world-class player for us. And I'm like, dude, I get it. I do. I've watched the Bayern Leverkusen highlights, and you see the and for a while I was like, you know what? He could be a world-class player. No. He could be a very good player. I'm not saying that he's going to be just terrible by any means. It's funny, how he started with y'all, but, maybe he's finding his footing. But, no.
He's had 105 good minutes.
Yeah.
In 19 games. So let's not get too gassed. I'm gonna call him out. I'm gonna call him out right now for having a little tiny piece of form right now. For actually doing what we've been begging you to do for 20 games now. You've actually done that, and so good for thank you. Finally, keep doing that, and I think the match-going fans are, kind of with him. They tend to be more with the players, But I think if he continues to put in performances like that, I think and the people that are upset that Havertz scored, and they're like, they don't want him, they hate him so much that they don't want him to do good so that he'll leave or whatever, is that it's a ridiculous notion to me, because he's wearing the Arsenal shirt.
Yeah.
The same shirt that I'm wearing. We got to support the guy, even if I've been very loud about how bad I think he is. I still think overall he's not awesome. But when he has a good performance, I'm going to celebrate, because that's what we need him to do, And boom, that's all we need to say on him. I think a lot of time is always spent on Kai Havertz. I'm happy that he's actually shown up and had a good game. I think that everyone had a good game. I think that the fact that Lons were not low block FC is the reason they got ripped to shreds. I think we were lethal like we haven't been very often this season. I think that when you give Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus space, it's over for you. You just can't do that. That's why teams set up so low against us, because it's devastating when they're on it. Once again, Declan Rice. I'm telling you, man. I said it in my match reaction. I'm gonna keep saying it. When we win this league, it's gonna be because of Declan Rice. People are already. I mean, I know YouTube and Twitter sphere and all this are very sensational. And they're like, "Oh, Rice is better than Rodri. Right? Rice can do this and that better than Rodri." And once again, calma. Let's calma on that. I think Rice is having a fantastic season. I think the higher profile club, he's a little bit more in the limelight, but he's putting in 9 out of 10 every single game. Week in, week out. Like, you can't even consider him for man of the match anymore, because he would just be man of the match always. He's man of the team. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, and this is one of those games, like, I said it a lot last year. When Arsenal are at their best, it's really tough to pick a man of the match. And honestly, when I was trying to pick one during the game, like, Havertz is top 3 at least. Gotta be. I'd probably give it to Tamayasu, to be honest with you. The dude's played his way into the team. 100%. He's
a solid force.
He's been fantastic on the left, on the right. He can play in the middle. He does the inverted thing. He gets down the wing for the crosses, for the Odegaard absolute smash. That was an important one. That was a really important one. Yes, it's great to see Kai doing things finally, but to see Odegaard actually be heavily involved in this game, as well as doing the work that he always gets through, and to cap it off with a classy finish, just a fantastic match. Professional second half, incredible first half, and long may it continue. I think going into the weekend, you might just see the same exact starting 11. I think for the first time in his career, Kai deserves to start. I think it'll be unchanged. No, you can't sit Tamayasu, so it'll probably be against Wolves. I think it'll be Zinchenko. Tamayasu, and then Raya comes back in just because Arteta, he's number one. Like, I'm done with the Raya Ramsdale thing. Raya's number one. Ramsdale's the cup keeper. It just is what it is. Got to be ruthless in this business, and I think Arteta kind of caused a big distraction. And I think if there wasn't social media and Arsenal weren't social media FC at times, then it wouldn't even be a thing. It would just be a normal goalkeeping battle. So yeah, Raya comes back in, and I think that it'll be interesting to see. I don't think Wolves will sit too far back. But then again, we've seen Gary O'Neill do that. It's going to be interesting to see if Pedro Neto is back. He'll be a danger man, of course. Cunha's on a little bit of form. No?
I don't think so. I'll look.
Yeah, Cunha's on a little bit of form as well. Obviously, always have to look out for Hwang Hee-chan. But yeah, I think we should take care of business.
Impressed.
What?
You nailed that one.
What?
In terms of the name.
Got the name pronunciation right. Yeah, I think that they've got some weapons, but I think that they'll also be a little bit, I really hope that we take them seriously. I hope that there is an attempt to stifle what they can do and to just completely play the game in their half. Pin them in, don't really give them a sniff. Kind of like we did versus Lawns. Lawns maybe had 10 touches in our box. Maybe the whole game. So yeah, I'm looking to just dominate the ball, dominate the territory, win all the second balls, force them to dump it to Raul Jimenez, and then just win that battle and win the second balls, and they'll never sniff it. And yeah, 3-0 to the Arsenal. What are we saying?
It sounds like Neto won't be back, by the way.
Yeah, definite 3-0 then.
Yeah. I can't go. Every time I pick Wolves to not score, they always score. So I'm gonna go with
the enigma.
But I will say this. I don't think this is close at all. I think that y'all are in a good spot, gaining momentum. What's going to be interesting is getting through this run of matches for everybody, but specifically you and City and where y'all shake out going into next year.
Oh, everybody's playing everybody. City play Villa on Tuesday. We're like right after Spurs. We have we're at Anfield on the 23rd, and we play Villa right before that. I think we play Villa right after City.
City play Wednesday. Y'all play Tuesday.
Yeah,
but you go to Luton, so
we go to Luton. So as much as we shouldn't look over anyone, I'm looking past that.
Yeah.
But go on. But go
on. My point being is I think that y'all have momentum. I think that it will be interesting to see specifically you and City, and we'll throw in Liverpool too, where y'all shake out coming into the winter break, because I think that's really going to be you're going to see, okay, we've got City to a potential full strength, Arsenal close to full strength. They don't have timber, but they figured it out how to make it work. And then Liverpool.
Word is February, like late Jan, early February.
Really?
That may be from some of the more optimistic fan channels, fans over at AFTV, but
that's crazy.
Rumors abound.
That's crazy. But that's it. I do think that y'all smash them. I really do. Actually, I'm going to go 4-1. I just think that this, again, like I said a couple weeks ago, it's not a good matchup for Wolves. I think that for them to potentially have a chance to get a team like Arsenal, they have to play open and take chances, and that just leaves them wide open for the counter, and y'all are deadly on the counter. Y'all can also break down from the wings, and I think this is a 4-1.
What you saying, Lewis?
Well, I was looking at sort of just the stats because I like to look at them. They don't really have a significant effect on how I choose, but a great thing I saw that made me click on it is there's a story that says the Premier League appoints officials for the Arsenal Wolves, the PGM MOL Derby, which is funny because then the story talks about how, obviously the Wolves manager and the Arsenal manager both have issues with the officiating, where specifically the Wolves manager unofficially turned against VAR on Monday. It said on Monday he turned against VAR, so it's funny. And then it shows that they put the officials here, which I don't think that should matter, but this is playing into how I'm choosing. Where it says the official has refereed both teams. They officiated, I think, Wolves 18 times and Arsenal.
Who is it?
What's his name? Banks? Hold on. Where is it? Wait. I just saw it. It is.
Is this week 13 or 14?
14.
Peter Beck.
14.
Peter Banks. Yeah.
But Arsenal has a winning record when he officiates, and Wolves also has a winning record. Most of the time he officiated them was in the championship. And the only thing he had was a 1-1 draw against Brentford for Arsenal last year, which wasn't on him. It was on VAR. So I think because it's recognized that way, unfortunately, I think the referees will play a role in this game. I have Arsenal winning 2-1. I think they will. I mean, I think they'll dominate the game, but I don't think the scoreline will complement how much they dominate in the game.
I really hope VAR doesn't play a role because Wolves are due, man. Wolves are due one to go their way. They have to be. Yeah, that is. I'm surprised that like O'Neal hasn't hired like some black vans and some couple of operatives, started making moves because they've been wrecked by VAR. What's it, like 4 different times now this season?
That's why he officially came out and said he was against VAR. He officially said it, which it makes me. I think him.
Look,
and
I like Gary O'Neal. I think he's a good manager. I think that, like, pretty much from the word go of his time in the Premier League, it's just been like a storm for him. It's just been clouds. He comes in to a Bournemouth team off the back of the other manager has just lost 9-0, said his players weren't good enough, and get sacked. And that's what you come into. A Herculean effort keeps Bournemouth up, pulls a miracle, sacked. Comes into Wolves, is doing good things, it's got them playing good football, and then it's just VAR decision after VAR decision after nope, after you don't get this one, after that one goes against you, after let's give Sheffield a win over Wolves. But yeah, man, I don't think the Arsenal can overlook this one. I think that my 3-0 prediction is one of those where we might score 30-35 and it be hotly contested for most of the first half. And then we'll slowly kind of grind them out, and then a 70th 2-0 and like an 85th 3-0, and they'll just kind of it'll kind of slowly fizzle out because they'll run out of steam after having to chase ghosts all game.
Yeah, that's why I got a 2-1. I mean, I think Arsenal will control the game, but I think they'll get one.
So I just looked at the referee assignments. Paulson's doing 2 games this weekend: the Arsenal game and the Chelsea game.
Of course. Of course. Well, segues are weird, but that is a perfect one, I dare declare. The Seagulls flying on over to London and Stamford Bridge. What are we saying, Patrick? Going to be different than the League Cup, right?
We won the League Cup, didn't we?
I'm saying it's going to be a different match, regardless of who wins. Yeah.
I think we'll be pretty. I haven't seen anything yet this week that says that injury wise we've got more injuries, because please no, we can't take any more. And there has been pictures of Fofana training.
I mean, how reliable are these pictures we're talking about?
Supposedly they're from that day. Well, who knows? Who knows? But I will say that I think that for the most part we're healthy, and I do have to laugh. There was a team of the month of November, I think, it was put out, and Nicholas Jackson was on it. I don't know,
like for the Premier League team of the month.
It was like an Opta Joe one, I think, is actually, because it had like ratings on it. Nicholas Jackson was on it, which was a bit of a surprise.
That is surprising.
But I think this is going to be interesting because, like you said previously, Brighton are injured big time.
Plus, Dump is suspended after pulling a Serginho Dest.
Yeah. I know Matoma's available, but Arango,
I thought he was injured, or is he back for this game?
I think he
He was out last game.
He traveled to the match in Greece.
Okay, sure.
So
yeah.
I don't know if he played. I need to look.
Oh, I didn't watch those highlights. I forgot that they were in the Europa League.
Yeah. Right.
Did they win that game?
Yes, 1-0.
Right. Yeah, they won
against AEK Athens.
Against Athens. How's today?
João Pedro again from the penalty spot.
And a red card, of course, for Athens.
Of course.
Why wouldn't there be?
Of course. So let's see. Let's look at the lineup real quick. Matoma played.
Okay.
Adingra played.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean it was a pretty strong side for them.
So good. I've predicted a barn burner. So yeah.
But you look at their bench and you're like, I don't know that person. I don't know who that person is.
Yeah.
James Milner is on the bench.
Yeah.
He comes with the Premier League at this point. But no, I do think that the injuries will help Chelsea tremendously. They would help a lot more if we weren't down our starting left back and right back. So it'll be interesting. I think you see Colwell on the left and you see Gusto on the right. I actually like Gusto on the right. He's going to be facing Matoma more than likely. So I think that kind of neutralizes him. You're not going to stop him by any means. But, of course, you got to worry about Pedro. João Pedro. Of course, you got Ferguson behind him. So they're gonna score. I know they're gonna score. I think we can outscore them though. I think that at the bridge, we kind of are going into this just like we did to the League Cup, and it's like, hey, this is a must win. Like this is not one of those where you can sleepwalk through it like you did against Brentford or against Forest and you're gonna win. No, you're gonna have to come with it. And I think that is why I think we win 3-2. I think we will have a gaff on defense because we always do. But I also think that Sanchez will be up for it in goal because he left Brighton on some pretty bad terms.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they dropped him to like 4th string. He was starting for them, and then they dropped him to 4th string, and it was really weird. That is weird. And it was funny because when he transferred to Chelsea, all the Brighton fans were like, can't believe we got 25 million for him. He sucks, blah, 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 blah. And then, he's been better than their goalkeeper for sure. Even though with his gaffes, he's still been better. So I think we win 3-2. I think
you got a quick copy of my predictions.
Oh, damn. Really? Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. I just think there'll be goals in this. I think it's going to be open. But I do think we'll be just a tad bit better. And I hope so because we really, really need it. This is one of those, again, going back to what X says, this is one of those that you got to pull back a little bit, pull the table down to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we win 3-2. I think you see the usual starting lineup outside of Gusto and Colwell. I think you see Caicedo for sure playing.
I was going to say, what about Caicedo? Is he back?
Yeah, he's fine.
But no James.
James can't play.
That's what I'm saying. No James.
Suspended.
So what do you do at left back or right back rather? It's Gusto. Gusto will just slot right in.
Yeah.
Sure.
If he doesn't, then I don't know what happens.
Cuckoo on the other side.
Cuckoo's out.
Cuckoo's out. So what are you doing at left back?
Simulation. So it'll be Colwell.
Oh,
yeah. I don't like that matchup against a Dingra. Is it a Dingra?
No.
Yeah, I do not like that matchup whatsoever.
Worse if it's Matoma.
Well, Matoma's probably going to be on the right side with Gusto, and I'm okay with that. He's not going to stop him. He's not going to stop him because you don't stop Matoma. But I think he can. I think he
can run with him though.
He can run with him. Yeah,
he can run with him for sure.
But this is going to be a game that's going to be interesting in the midfield. I think we're actually stronger there. I really do like Pascal Gross, but I think that there are spots with Enzo and Gallagher and Caicedo where we can nick the ball off of them. And
I was going to say, yeah, your high press that we've seen from Chelsea will be very effective because we've also seen from Brighton this season some shakiness in possession, some hurried passes, some misplaced touches, and it's cost them. There's plenty of examples. The Liverpool one springs to mind. And so that's why they've gotten these lots of high scoring games. The thing is, conversely, they can also play through a press. So that's why I'm mirroring your score because I think that the fact that it's at home is going to play a role. A little Stamford Bridge effect. I think that Conor Gallagher is going to have a game. I think he's going to be important.
He needs to after the last game specifically. He just did not play well against Newcastle, and I think they were just more physical. Specifically in the second half, and it took him right out of the game. Going against Billy Gilmore, Pascal Gross, which again I really like Pascal Gross and Ferguson right there in that triangle. Will
it be Ferguson or Pedro?
Will
it be João Pedro or Ferguson, or will it be both of them?
Looks like it'll be both of them. That's what they played on.
So Ferguson in the kind of the 10.
Yeah, he plays like more of a 10. But I do think that we can get the ball off of Gilmore. And the thing is Gilmore, former Chelsea player. Actually, he still is a Chelsea player. He's on loan.
I was counting the number of Chelsea plants that are spread out across the Europe really. Because I saw Juan Cuadrado playing for Inter Milan on Tuesday, and so I was going back and watching the highlights. I was thinking I counted them up. At least half the Champions League games had a Chelsea player either on the bench or in the match.
Yep.
I was like, man, this is crazy. Bowley really is trying to take over every team, take over the whole world.
No, that's all Roman. That's all Roman. He still has his influence. I did laugh. Somebody posted a picture on Twitter of Hakan Ziyech, and it said Cobham product, and I had to laugh because he didn't come from Cobham, but it feels like it because he was here for so long, and he did nothing. But yeah,
he's tearing it up in Turkey there, and we'll get to that in a bit.
We'll hopefully they'll pay for him. I think they will, especially after Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday.
It was Wednesday.
Was it?
Yeah,
it was early Wednesday.
It's the same time as the Sevilla game. It was. I was talking to Brian. I was telling him, man, this is a great appetizer for the Arsenal game. And he's like, appetizer? What are you talking about? And then we went and slapped Lon 6-0. I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. But no, I do think that this is almost a must win. I hate to call games must wins because you've got a 38 game schedule and we're not even halfway there. But these are the games you have to win if you want any chance at being in Europe. And I'm not going to talk crazy and say we're going to be in Champions League or whatever. Just being in Europe in general, you've got to win this game.
This is massive. There's 6 points ahead of you, and this is the home fixture versus them. This is You said it earlier. You have to pull the team above you down. This is huge because if you lose this game, it's like you're getting pretty disconnected. They'll be up to 25, and you're still on 16.
Yeah.
At that point, it's looking pretty like, like last season where, win is 40 coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So
But yeah, looking at the table,
huge.
We gotta have it. We gotta have it. And if we don't, then we may by Christmas be like 13th, 14th. So, and if we don't win this weekend, that's very possible still, So it's not dire by any means, but when you're at home, you've got to get these games. Especially on teams that when you go on the road, you're going to struggle probably at their place. This is one you got to get.
I agree completely. What you saying, Lewis?
While I'm no numerologist, I'm staring at numbers, and I'm going to give you my prediction first and then tell you why. It's going to be a 4-4 draw.
Oh, my God.
All right.
And I'm going to tell you why.
All right.
So first, I looked at Chelsea's last result. So Brighton, their last 5 games in all competitions, they've won 3 and drawn 2, right? And then I looked at Chelsea, and Chelsea's results are 0-2, 2-0, 1-4, 4-4, 4-1. And then I looked at the results between Brighton and Chelsea, 4-1, 1-2, 4-3, 1-0. So based on numbers, a 4 should show up again. So I'm just going 4-4. That's literally the science I just used. Chelsea, I mean, they've improved, but they have clearly shown they let in the last few games against everyone. And Brighton clearly lets goals in as well. So I think it'll be a fun one to watch. This is Sunday, right? I think this is the first.
It's the first game on Sunday. Yeah, it's gonna be entertaining for sure.
Yeah, well, I think it'll. I'm going 4-4.
Well,
I was gonna pick a 3-3 draw, but since I've seen all the 4s, I'm just gonna go 4-4.
Well, I will tell you this. I saw this stat. I think it was Monday. Chelsea after a bye, like after an international break, they played terrible. And I don't know if it's because they're disjointed or whatever it might be. Second game they played pretty decent, and I think there's a couple wins in there as well. So again, this is one of the ones you've got to find a way to win.
Especially since it's Old Trafford on Wednesday.
I know.
Or Tuesday.
Nana's in goal, man. You'll be all right. Sterling will score against him.
Is Onana going to be in goal? He got hurt the other day, didn't he?
Oh, he got real hurt. Segues are really, really weird. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness gracious. His spirit's hurt. His feelings might be hurt a little bit.
A lot of it.
Calamitous.
Jesus, man.
Just baffling. I can't find the perfect pejorative or superlative, just from whichever, depending on your angle. Oh man, I heard somebody say made Hakeem Ziyech looking like Hakeem Messi out here.
My man had a brace and an assist.
How are you directly at fault for them not going through in the Champions League?
I know David De Gea is just smiling wherever he is.
He's probably phoning his agent like, "Yo, put in a word. They'll be on the lookout."
Because, dude, I never in life. I mean, dude, I don't understand how you knock a goal in like this. Like, I don't know what he was doing. I can't explain it. It almost was like he had to do that on purpose because there's no like.
I don't even know if he could do that one on purpose. I don't know if he could. I don't know.
So bad.
I don't know if he could do that again if you asked him to.
God, it was bad.
Baffling stuff. Yeah, I understand that you thought the free kick was maybe going to go the other direction, but he's hit it so low, it's going to hit the wall. There's a dude laying on the ground if it goes the other way. So why did you jump so far the behind the wall. Like, do you not trust your wall? Like I can't. I don't understand the thought process.
Harry Maguire in it, so
Harry Maguire's like been good in the last couple of games. He's actually on a little bit of a decent run. I'm not saying in general that he's good, but not unlike Kai Havertz, he's had 100 or so minutes of decent football. You know, so like you can't, you know, I just don't understand how you cheat so much to the left.
Running the overlap.
And then late on Harry Maguire just steaming forward.
Turn it into a 9.
Well, they had about 97 shots there in the end. Both teams. This was like this is an NBA match. They could have played this in the Los Angeles Lakers arena.
It really was back and forth. For the neutral, it was fantastic.
Oh, great stuff. Absolutely great stuff.
I enjoyed it.
I knew though that they would give it up when they scored the second goal. When Galatasaray scored the second goal, and it was such a ridiculous goal too. I was like, oh man, they're gonna give this up. They're definitely gonna give this up. But they also should have won the.
Dude, how many shots do they have that you're like, dude, where?
What a game! I mean, yeah, just a crazy game that was, and I just like it. United are such an interesting study this season because they've been so poor, and then they're halfway decent against Everton, and then it's like, guys, kick on. You know, are you guys gonna? Nope. You're really not. You're really not. And I heard Saeed from Saeed TV, also from the Big Six, today on the Big Six today said that Kobe Mainu, the 18-year-old who we've seen 1.5 games of, is their best midfielder, apart from Fernandez.
Yeah.
That is bad news, Bears. McTominay was not great. He popped up for the goal, but he was not very good in this game. I thought that there was no one really did any kind of controlling in the midfield, and the defending in general was poor. But to make Hakim Ziyech look like that, like a superstar, you're giving goals away, man. You're out here giving games away. If they give Newcastle that many chances,
they're going to destroy them.
Yeah.
It could be very, very bad. It could get really, really bad, really, really fast. And I think after, and it's not for nothing, but they've put in a huge effort to give this game away. And so then they have to travel up to the north. We know what that's like. They're going to get kicked. They're going to get punched. Joe Linton's going to try to, who knows what he's going to do. He might, stick you in the ribs or something. It's going to be a brutal match. And I think they're going to get just, once again, it's 3-0. 3-0 to Newcastle. I think United are just going to, because they've played sort of similarly in a all throughout. Each game has kind of been, okay, well, they're sort of defensively sound sometimes, and they're going to eke one out. It's kind of the what you think. But when they come up against the better teams, that just doesn't cut it. And I think Newcastle are going to be pissed, for one, after what's happened to them, because they should have lost that game by about 19 goals to Paris. But they also should have won that game.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, daylight robbery, and they did acknowledge it, but then the next day, There was the exact same thing in the Arsenal game. The exact same thing in the Arsenal game. And after a 4-second VAR check, they waved it off. I was like, I mean, they stuck to their guns after their statement.
Yeah, exactly. Their statement.
But Newcastle are like potentially out of the Champions League for that. It's like $17 million to progress.
Well, I mean, you got to think that
it's like Tomiyasu's fee to progress in the Champions League. And a decision that was acknowledged it was wrong could cost them $17 million.
well, you got the PIF backing them, so it's just chump change.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, this is the first example we can throw a monetary value at.
Yeah.
These decisions are literally costing big, big dollars. Imagine Luton get robbed $17 million.
Yeah, 17 million.
You see my point? So, but yeah, I just think Newcastle are going to be way too much. United, their frailties and their deficiencies will come to the fore as they did when Newcastle went to Old Trafford. Although it must be said, Newcastle put in a huge effort as well, so they might have a little bit of a hangover, might be tired as well. Running on an absolute skeleton crew. We'll see Lewis Miley again, the 18-year-old, probably.
Hall, too.
Probably Lewis Hall. Yeah, there you go. So, but yeah, like I say, 3-0 to the Tomb. What you saying?
I actually went 2-0. One, because I think that there's going to be some hangover from Tuesday or Wednesday.
They played Tuesday.
They played Tuesday. Okay. My days run together, man.
I get
when
it.
it comes to Champions League, especially. But I think there will be some hangover because it'll be a lot of what if. I think that United, I'm shocked that they fell apart like they did, because 2-0 at Galatasaray takes the fans completely out of it. And
they didn't. Onana fell apart.
Well, yeah. So I mean,
what are you going to do when your goalkeeper gives the game away?
Yeah, true. I know that a little too well. Okay. PTSD. No.
Yeah.
But no, I just Ten Hag, his lineups are getting a little bit more interesting. Like, he's running out of ideas. And so he's starting to throw kids on. Palestri played against Galatasaray, of course. Would you say Mooney? Right?
Yeah, Kobe Mainu. Mainoo. However, that's supposed to be pronounced.
So yeah. I think what you're seeing is Ten Hag's like, okay, desperate times call for desperate measures kind of thing. And I think that will play off onto the team, but they're not going to score. I mean, freaking Nick Pope's standing on his head right now. If it wasn't for a great free kick by Sterling, we don't score against them because he's saving everything, it feels like. He had some incredible saves the other night. I mean, that one on it was like in the 82nd minute. Like, anywhere else that ball goes, he can't save it, but he somehow gets his thigh on it, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And,
I know which one you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And so, I think that he's going to stifle them, and they won't be able to score. And I think that Newcastle, they will be a little dead leg. They'll be a little bit kind of hangoverish, but it's at St. James. That fan base will push them on, and That's why I went 2-0 instead of like a 3 or 4-0.
Yeah, I definitely see that. What you think, Lewis? Is he frozen?
No,
No,
I'm
he's
not.
Oh, he's thinking.
I had an answer. No, I had an answer. Like I had one. I think Newcastle will win. But the weird thing is Newcastle is just as unpredictable as United is. They really are. And it's weird because you just look at their results. Like, why would they lose 2-0 to Bournemouth and then blam Chelsea? Like,
Injuries, man.
What I don't know. I don't know. Like, their results are so weird, right? Because, and I mean, not to bring it up, but I'm just going off scores. Like, so they beat Arsenal, but then Dortmund smack them, and then they lose to Bournemouth, and then they smoke Chelsea to then draw. I'm going with a draw. I'm going with patterns again. I'm going with a draw. 1-1. I was gonna say 2, but I can't see United scoring 2, so I'm gonna go 1-1 because that's the only way a draw can happen.
Yeah, I agree. There will be goals. It certainly won't be a 0-0.
No.
But
I think Newcastle's better than them. But I mean, I look at it and I say, well, Onana played awfully, and then there was like a video or whatever of all the United players like walking off and not acknowledging him at all. Which, I mean, I don't know what acknowledgement he could possibly want because it wouldn't be nice acknowledgement.
No.
We can't say good game to you because you lost the game for us. So I don't know. I think it's one of those weird things that Newcastle is better, but Newcastle just faced a huge disappointment. United just faced a huge disappointment, and they both really have to find form, which means a draw to me.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a flat one. I hope not, but it's a really, really important game as well, though.
It is.
Definitely right there, kind of the same in the table. Not to mention Man U at Anfield in the week.
Oh, they're getting battered when they go there.
Back to back. There's a world where it's back to back maulings. You know,
they're getting battered in that one.
It could be rough. So Ten Hag definitely need to fight and get a result up there.
If they win this one, they would have to win this game for anybody to see any hope for them to have any kind of result against Liverpool.
No, I don't see them getting a result against Liverpool.
No,
and the morale will be quite low if they take a 3-0 like I expect they will at Newcastle. But I think pretty much the most competitive. Well, there are a couple of other competitive games, but I got my eye on this Burnley Sheffield game. 6-pointer down at Turf Moor.
Dude, you know how I am, man. I really want them to be good, but I can't see it, man. I just like I mean they beat so.
I know it's so frustrating, right? Frustrating to want them to do better. Just be better.
Like they're gonna score, right? They'll score. But then what do they do with the goal, right? They don't close games.
They'll give the game away.
And they don't know how to defend. Let me rephrase that because that's incorrect. It's not that they don't know how to defend, it's their defending is poor.
Yeah.
Which I guess some could say they don't know how to, but I mean their defending is poor.
It's definitely not great. And they've been ripped apart on numerous occasions. The thing is, though, with their defending is that they've been ripped apart, as we say, on numerous occasions, but by teams who counter well, by teams who possess the ball well, by teams who finish well. All things that Sheffield don't do well. And I actually took a leaf out of your book when I was doing my prediction on this one, and I went and looked at their last few games. Neither team has scored more than one goal like maybe once all season.
It's ridiculous, man. It is ridiculous.
Maybe. And for this reason, I've gone for the 1-1. No one, neither team can score more than 2 goals, but both teams give up goals, but both teams struggle to score. Yeah. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. I want to say Burnley will edge it, but they're not great, man.
Man, I'm doing it. Burnley 2-0.
Burnley 2-0. You love to see it. I would enjoy that.
Sheffield is negative 23 differential, and Burnley's negative 22. So just go ahead, score the 2 to make them 25. You'll be 20. You'll have 7. They'll have 5, and the table will still be silly because you'll still be living at the bottom. I think Burnley's better than them. I think they'll show up this week. I don't. Nothing in the results supports anything I've just said. No history, no data, nothing. All I have is April 10th, Burnley won 2-0 at home, but they were in the championship.
Back in the championship.
And they had form, so that made sense for form. But because I can't even use the championship because Sheffield beat them 5-2 the game before that. So
before that.
I'm going 2-0 Burnley, and I don't believe my prediction, but that's what I'm sticking with.
Nice. Patrick, Sheffield, the Blades, visit Turf Moor. It's a big one, but as we were just discussing, we don't see much quality. Neither team is very strong. Lots of large negative goal differences. What you thinking?
So,
I've said 1-1. He said 2-0.
Okay. So when Bournemouth visited Sheffield, I said these are the opportunities that you have if you want to stay up. And, I think that this is one of those opportunities for Burnley, especially hosting. Have they won on the season yet? They have won
once,
one game. I think they get their second one. I think that Sheffield is not going to be able to score, even though Burnley plays really wide open. Like I heard you say, they still aren't really scoring either way. So I'm actually going to go with 2-1 Burnley at Turf Moor, and the bottom of the table gets even more crazy.
Absolutely. That would put it into even more disarray because Nottingham Forest are playing Everton at the new fortress that is the City Ground these days. And Steve Cooper got them playing good. Everton in a just a bad way. In a just not a good situation. Slammed by a Manchester United who no one expected to see them pull out the goal of the season or even kick on from there. Albeit Everton looked decent. They looked the better team after the wonder goal until halftime.
Right.
But man, they struggle to score. They struggle to defend. They're demoralized. They're facing a second freaking points deduction. Oh, it's dark days. Storm clouds are billowing, just hanging over the club. I don't think it's gonna get better at Forest. They're actually playing really well at home, riding high, got a bunch of confidence. The fans are right behind him. Anthony Elanga is looking good this season. Morgan Gibbs-White's having himself a season. So I think that, I think Forest are going to be too much for Everton. My man Awaniyi going to get on the score sheet. I think I've said 2-1 to Forest at home.
Okay. I disagree. And here's why. Last week was very difficult on Everton. They were at home. They had fans protesting in the stands. the atmosphere in itself is something that you can't prepare for. It could have been the fans could have, ushered them on, and maybe they did. I didn't see much of it, but when you get pretty much smashed like they did, and again, if Garnacho doesn't hit that goal, maybe it's different. But when you hit a goal like that and you see that and you're like, he really just did that, kind of thing. And you had what happened during the week with, the point deduction and everything. I think that this is a week where they're able to flush it all, kind of get out from underneath it all. And as a result, I'm actually going to go 2-1 Everton at the Forest. At Forest.
Excellent. Love to hear a very different prediction. What you saying, Lewis?
I'm going 1-0. And the reason I'm going there is that if you look at Everton's form prior to the United thing, and
1-0 Everton.
Yeah, 1-0 Everton.
Nice.
And it just they've been decent up until that result. The United result was just one, and it took like an insane freaking worldly of a goal to get them. So I mean, you look at Forest. I mean, they're not good. They give up goals. So I'm going 1-0 Everton.
Well, there you go. This is my chance to gain a little 3 points in the predictions table. You love to hear different predictions. Yeah, man. I just think that Forest right now quietly doing their thing at home. Very impressive win against Villa, and it wasn't just like a fluke either. They were much the better team versus Villa, which is not easy to do. And I watched the full 90 of the Brighton game. They were peppering the goal in the end. Albeit against 10 men, sure, but I think that I think they're going to have what it takes, definitely. And Everton, as much as I expected them to push on from the little bit of pressure they had against Man United after the first goal, they still struggle to score mightily. And the commentator actually made a comment that said that Decore was like Sean Dyche's main creator and like go-to guy, and I'm like,
he is.
Yeah, I get it, and he can have his day, have some good games, but that's just, you can't rely on him to be the main guy creating and expect to be winning lots of games in this league. So yeah, I think Forest are gonna handle business. We'll stay down there at the bottom, and Brentford are hosting Luton Town at the G-Tech Stadium. I feel for Luton on this one, man. I really do. I don't think they have a shot.
No, probably not.
I don't think this game's going to be close at all. The scoreline maybe, because Brentford aren't like super prolific. That's why I've gone for 2-0 Brentford. But Luton can't defend very well, and these long throw-ins and corner kick routines and free kick routines that Brentford are very strong on could be devastating. It could be rough pumpkins. Luton at home have shown they've got a little spunk, some tricky moments of good play, but away from home, I fear for them. And Brentford took Arsenal to the 94th minute to get a win. And I thought we were decent against them. I thought they defended very well, so I don't think Luton are going to have a sniff.
But again, it's all about, do they play up or down to competition? because if that's the case, maybe Luton does find a way to score. I mean, Luton's been kind of surprising us in how they're able to find ways to score right now.
I mean, they have 3 wins, 9 points.
Yeah. So I'm actually torn on this one, not in the sense of who's going to win. Brentford's going to win, no question. I'm just wondering, does Luton or Luton? I think they call it Luton. I think it's Luton. Does Luton have a goal or 2 in them? I don't know, man. The Brentford plays so well at the G-Check, though. They really do. Other than when they played y'all in the League Cup or whatever.
That was a difficult game as well. That was a 1-0 as well.
I thought y'all won that one 2-0.
Did we?
Yeah, I thought you played. They played like their starters, and
we played the third team. Yeah,
and y'all played like the second or third team.
Arsenal Brentford was 1-0.
In the League Cup.
Oh no.
We've played them twice.
Oh no, I was talking about the last game you played.
Yeah,
you beat them 1-0 last time. Oh, yeah. But again, that's Arsenal coming to Brentford. That's okay. This is a top tier team. You know, we're laser focused. Now
Luton are coming off the back of a win.
I know, and that's where I struggle a little bit. That said, I think Brentford will take care of business. Luton hasn't been good on the road for the most part. Let's see. That was at home. They lost 1-0 at United. Lost 3-1 at Villa. 2-2 at Forest. Yeah, I'm going to go 3-0 Brentford.
I can definitely see it. Absolutely. What you thinking, Lewis?
2-1 Brentford. I think Luton does score a goal, but Brentford's better than them. 2-1.
Yeah, Brentford is better than them. I think Wisa and Mbomo are going to be an issue.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. With their style of play, I think Luton's in some trouble there.
Yeah, it'll be that mid to low block, especially if Luton can get on the ball a little bit. Luton, excuse me. At times they'll get on the ball and can push forward a little bit, and there's just, Lockyer is not keeping up with Mbomo, however you say his name. I'm trying to think of any of their defense. Yeah, they're not keeping up with them, that's for sure. So if they leave space in behind, and Brentford can win those quick second balls and combine Mbomo and Wisa, could be difficult. Could be a lot of chasing, a lot of running back towards their own goal. But we'll stay in the Bs. We'll stay down at the bottom. Well, I guess it's kind of a bottom meets top. Aston Villa going to Bournemouth in what's probably going to be another pretty straightforward game, although Villa haven't traveled well, particularly well this season at times. I don't know, man. I was just so impressed with Villa's last performance. They did have a bit of a dogfight on the hands in the Conference League versus Legia Warsaw. Those highlights looked like they were kind of a back and forth, typical Villa game.
Yeah.
And Bournemouth are open, especially at home. They'll play. They'll come to play. So I think they're going to get absolutely wrecked. Because Villa on the counter, man. Diaby has scored a sick counter goal. Classic, just cuts in Arjen Robben style against Warsaw. So I think he'll be having a field day, against the outside backs. Bournemouth can surprise, though. Bournemouth have beaten Newcastle. That was a really surprising result. Definitely value for that win. But yeah, man, I think Villa are just going to be way too much. I've said 3-0 to Unai Emery's men.
Yeah. I mean, the thing though is Villa on the road is. I mean, they looked horrible against Chelsea until the red card. They lost. I'm sorry, to Forest. What was the last one? They came back to win against Tottenham, right? Yeah, because they were down 1-0. So they came back to win 2-0.
But that was one of their most impressive performances for me.
Oh, I know. But you look down their points here, and I don't know. If this was at Villa, I'm probably picking like 5-0. I'm gonna go 2-1 Villa. I think Ollie Watkins gets a brace if he plays. I'm just looking at my fantasy team who scored a whopping 45 points last week. The average was 46, so hey, we're about average. And it says that he has a muscle injury and he has a 75% chance of playing. So, guess we'll find out tomorrow from you and I if he is going to play on the weekend. I think he will. So give him a brace.
Fair enough. Yeah. What you saying, Lewis?
Just looking at results. I mean, Bournemouth seems to get up for people. I agree that Villa is a better team, but when Villa is on the road, they're a tiny bit different. So I'm actually going 2-2. I got a draw.
Oh, that's a spicy result. That's a surprise of the weekend.
Yeah, I got a draw.
Yeah, I disagree completely with that. I think Villa are far superior to Bournemouth. I think a lot of people don't realize that Villa are tied for third.
Yeah, but I'm looking at results, and they were far superior to Forest, and they lost 2-0. And
but
and then well, I'm looking at the results for Bournemouth. I mean, they won 3 and lost 2, but the 2 they lost to were Liverpool and City. And when Liverpool beat them, it was at Bournemouth, and it was 2-1. So
Arsenal won at Bournemouth 4-0.
Well, I'm just talking about the last 5 results. I mean, I can't go back that far. I'm not that I can't, but I'm just looking. I mean, we're looking at form, and I'm just looking at form. They've played some heavy hitters, and they played Liverpool, City, Newcastle, and they showed up. Like they showed up for all of them. I got a 2-2. I don't think they're better than Villa at all. I think Villa is head and shoulders better than them, but I got a 2-2.
I agree that they'll show up and they'll be up for it, but I was just so impressed by Villa's performance against Spurs, man. And Unai, the way he's able to read the game and just make a tactical switch is very impressive. And I don't think that there's just bags of quality. The gap in quality is huge for me. I'll be shocked to see a 2-2. I'll be shocked. That is massive points dropped, in my opinion, for Villa. I think that they are going to be challenging right under the top 3, if not if not in there for a while themselves.
I mean, they're only 2 points behind y'all, so
that's what I'm saying. I
have to start talking about them being potential title.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I know it's November, at the end of November, so the table doesn't mean much. Only Arsenal celebrate being on top of the table in November. Oh my good God.
You start popping champagne in January.
People out here making shirts of the Premier League, making printings of the Premier League table to put on their wall, But yeah, I think Villa are gonna be in there for a good long while, and I think they're gonna be far too much for Bournemouth. But yeah, speaking of being up at the top, being far too much for your opponents, Liverpool are hosting Fulham at Anfield in what should be a bloodbath.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this one will be. I feel like this will be about as routine as it gets.
Yeah, I'm making sure that Salah is my captain this week.
Yes,
because I think he's gonna do numbers. I'm thinking a goal, 2 assists.
Yeah, Jedi. Sorry about you, buddy.
Yeah, it's not gonna be.
Sorry about you, buddy. He's been shaky. Jedi Robinson has been very shaky, both in a USA shirt and in a Fulham shirt this season. It makes me sad because I'm a fan.
Yeah,
bro, pick it up because you're not playing against Trinidad and Tobago this week. If you're not on it, Salah will rip you to shreds.
We'll just toy with you.
Which I think is going to happen anyway. 3-0 Liverpool.
I went bigger. I went 5-0.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's Anfield.
I can see it. They just demolished Lask maybe.
Yeah, Lask. Yeah.
4-0. So yeah, I just think they're going to be way too much. Did you happen to see any of those highlights from today? Luis Diaz had a header from like 15 yards out. Like he come flying in, and like it wasn't like it's hit his head. He does one of these in the air, and it smashes the back of the net. The goalkeeper was surprised. You can look at it, and he goes, and it goes right past him. He's like, whoa. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I for some reason I get alerts to my phone for Liverpool. I guess because I searched them during our podcast, and when I saw Cody Gakpo scored in like the 15th minute to make it 2-0, I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna.
He scored in the 3rd minute.
He scored in the 3rd minute.
Yeah, and then again in the 15th minute.
Yeah. So when I saw it was 2-0, I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna. There's no effort going to be put in there.
No, I went back and watched the City game from Tuesday during the Europa League matches today.
Nice.
I'm so happy to be back in Champions League, dude. I'm so happy, man. I'm not about the Thursday games. I'm not about that life. And I think
you don't like going to Eastern Bloc European countries. Played in Romania or
no, we got lucky. We were in Portugal. We were in Holland. And what was the other team? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. We didn't take it seriously anyway. But I definitely think Klopp and the Reds will be taking this one seriously, and they're going to smash. What are you saying, Lewis?
4-0. They're going to repeat just what they did.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even think there's really much to say in this one. No. Fulham struggle defensively. Liverpool are dynamite on attack. Yeah, that'll probably be the biggest scoreline of the weekend, I think.
He's going to get absolutely abused.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be pretty. I feel bad for him. And that just leaves one final game to discuss. It's an intriguing one.
It's a London derby.
West Ham hosting Crystal Palace. And I got to say, after watching last weekend's game, Palace at Luton, they're bad, man. That was it. I was shocked at how bad they were against Luton Town. They cannot be. There's no way they're going to be that bad again. But West Ham are far superior to Luton, so it's going to be a really tough game for Palace. Even with Eze and Elise, those dudes were supposed to come in and cook, supposed to get it clicking, supposed to keep the ball, run the game, score the goals, and you lost to Luton Town. So I have no faith. I have no faith in those guys, even if they are in. I've actually heard, I think Eze went back down. So Eze may not even play, which is horrifying news, even though he didn't really impact the game last time out.
But West Ham, like Chelsea and City were all about trying to get Elise this summer.
Oh, yeah.
Dude's
Dude's got it for sure. And it was his first game back last time out.
Yep.
I think he'll probably be better in this one, but
it's a bad matchup.
it's not a good matchup for Palace at all. And I think West Ham has that steal in the middle. I think they're gonna boss this. Paqueta's probably gonna boss this game. James Ward-Prowse on a free kick, definitely gonna have an influence. Yeah, I've said 2-0 West Ham. I just lost a lot of respect for Palace last weekend, and I think West Ham are going to be too much. They're going to have some quality. Kudus probably. I'm going Kudus and James Ward-Prowse with the goals. 2-0, flying bubbles in London.
Well, I just wanted to be known I did write it down before you said anything.
I watched you write it down just now.
It was before you. Seriously, I had written down 2-0 before you said I'm going to go 2-0, and I'm like, because I even went. Seriously?
Okay.
No, it's a bad matchup.
Yeah.
Really bad matchup. I saw an interesting stat though. So since 2021 or 2022, I can't remember. I think it's 2022. The only club that has won more in Europe than West Ham is Real Madrid.
What?
Yeah, I've got to find it because I read it like 3 times. I was like,
that's an odd stat.
is this true?
Did they just sweep the conference league? Did they just not lose a game in conference league?
I don't think they did.
Just won every game.
I think they won every game.
Jeez, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, no, it's a bad matchup. There's too much firepower for West Ham. Who's going to score for Palace if Elise can't score? Which he could. He could. But I think defensively, West Ham's pretty strong. And, yeah.
Your favorite Hammer got a last-second winner today. Again.
That's 2 in a row.
Yep. the second goalkeeper with the last second winner. It's probably a handball if I had to guess.
Probably. This guy, I'm telling you. No, it's a bad matchup. Even if it wasn't, West Ham's just better than them.
Yeah.
So 2-0.
Yeah. No doubt. What you think, Lewis?
3-1.
A little bit more in it.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a 2-goal margin. I mean, West Ham is significantly better than them. Crystal Palace is just so inconsistent. I mean, you lose to Everton and Luton back-to-back games. I mean, where do you go, man?
I mean, you can only go up from. Well, I mean, that's not true. You can continue to plummet.
That is correct.
Oh, and it's a long way down too.
It is.
Yeah, man, they're in a sticky spot right now. Palace, not playing good, not looking good. But man, they're an enigma, and you never know. They might come out with a performance, but maybe Roy Hodgson will win one for the Gipper, but I don't see it.
Nah, man,
I don't see it.
They're not good.
Period. Yeah. Well, there you have it. Absolutely. It's going to be a very interesting weekend in the league. I'm definitely excited. Hopefully, Arsenal can retain their top spots. City, Spurs, pretty much no matter what the outcome of that one, I can find positives. Chelsea got a tough game. Man United, Newcastle will be fun. I'm probably going to tune into as many as I can, and we're certainly grateful that you have tuned into this one. Go ahead and get the likes up on the video. Of course, subscribe if you're new. We are on our way to 200 subscribers. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. We hope you have a wonderful evening, and you will see us next time.